Welcome to my YouTube channel, man. I'm Flip Wilson, your host and your guide to becoming a better hustler. What I plan on doing with this first tutorial is actually making it for the guys who just jumped off the porch. Like, this is for the guy who's just beginning, and I'm gonna try to teach him the interface and some of the tricks that I do, and use some of the effects that I use on a daily, and that way we can start from the ground up, sort of like building blocks. I want to make sure that I get you advanced throughout the week, so by the end of the week on Friday, when I drop the full complete project, you guys are able to keep up. And so what we're gonna do is beat the same effect in your head and get you familiar with it for 3 or 4 days straight. I'm gonna release tutorials on those videos for 3 or 4 days straight. That way, by the time I get ready to drop the more intricate work, you guys will be able to keep up. So that's my goal. I plan on building some foot soldiers up into lieutenants and capos, and eventually becoming an OG. You know what I'm saying? That's my goal right now. So I'm gonna show you guys different effects, tools. I'm gonna show you the interface of After Effects and other various programs that I use and cheats that I use as well. Like, some people always ask me, Flip, what programs you use? Well, I use all of them. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do. So stick around. You know, there's a lot of work, and I'm hoping you guys can help me move it. So let's get started, alright? Okay, man. Thank you guys for coming over, staying tuned, and following me this far. This is my first tutorial, so I want you guys to bear with me. Also, like, subscribe, comment, especially comment. I need you guys to leave constructive criticism. You know, Flip, I like this. Flip, I don't like that. Hey, Flip, you're going too fast. Flip, how come you're not showing us what you do? Well, definitely there's a method to my madness. I want to teach you guys the same way I was taught, and that's from the ground up. Okay, guys, go ahead and open up After Effects. If you don't have it, you should definitely get it. It's an Adobe product, and editors are using it nowadays. This is just one program that I use, but it has the fundamental building blocks that I use to build things from scratch. That's the advantage of After Effects. People might not know that, but that's the real advantage. You know, if you can't afford stock footage or anything like that, you definitely should grab After Effects. We go in and you have these options: new project, open project. Open project is for anything in the past. So what we're going to do is start a new project. And you have the interface here. There's a lot of different ways. I usually leave it the way it is when it comes in, because I found this easier for me to work with. But there's different ways that you can go in and change your workstation to any type of view that, you know, you think that would fit you. So there's like a default traditional view where, you know, things are changed around, and then they have an animation set up. You know, you could just use that setting all the time. But today we would just let's just go with animation. Now what we're going to do is create a new composition. So we go into compositions, drop down to new composition. I advise you to, you know, research this a lot more to find out exactly what's going to be the best render for your project, like what platform you're going to shoot the project out on. But this HD TV 1080/25 is standard for, let's say, if you're doing like a YouTube video. And then of course you have here your duration, how long you want it to be. So this is all about the comp and how long you want it to be. I usually do like anywhere from 30 seconds to 15 minutes. I usually don't do a comp longer than that. So we just set it for 15 minutes today. And a background color is fine. Black is standard. So then just hit OK. But, oh, I forgot. Name your comp. So today we're doing fire. I would just name it fire, because I'm teaching you guys how to do a fire trick. Actually build fire from scratch. So here, what we want to do is, I want to show you real quick what we're going to be creating. This here is what we're creating today. Just simple fire from scratch. If you don't have any type of fire overlays or anything, this is really, really handy to create fire really quickly, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing today. So now we're back in After Effects. We created the fire composition. Go ahead and drop that comp in this little window right here. It says Create New Comp. And you could have your comp here, the new one. And I always rename these. Let's rename this Render, because this is the comp, like the master comp. that I use after I build everything. So you have the fire comp and the render comp. I don't want that to be confusing. They're the same thing, but now you have it here available so you can actually work with it. And this comes in handy. So right now, let's just create a simple layer shape. So in order to do a layer shape, we need a solid. So we go in and we create layer, new, and let's just do solid. And I already have it preset because I had this tutorial done already. We're just doing it from scratch again. But this kind of red is fine. Now go in and pick a red, whatever color you want your fire to be. Pick a red, hit OK. It's already the right comp size, and you can name this fire tip or fireball. Let's name it fireball, okay? I think that's a good one. Fireball. If you're not familiar with the tools, I definitely want to do a tutorial to show you guys that. And I think that should have been the first tutorial, but here is a pen tool. And for the Photoshop users, you know, this is used a lot. So we're going to actually make a shape from this layer. And, you know, you can make that to whatever you're doing. Like I used fire coming out of a actual barrel. So I just took it and I just tried to make like a candle lit fire. Something, you know, and never mind my drawing because that I need to work on it. But, you know, make a shape similar to this. Like, you know, if you're picturing fire coming out of a candle or something, try to make a shape similar to this right here. And you'll see why later. But that, you know, to me, that's what fire looks like. And from there, you have your layer. You want to make sure you click on it, the fireball. And we're going to go to effects. And this is the effect that I was telling everybody about that I use 99.9% of the time. So if you get familiar with this effect, you're already winning. The effects panel is here, and it's here. So you have all your effects up top, and then you have them over here in this panel as well if you're in the animation preset interface like I was showing you guys. Sorry about that. So we type in fractal, and then all these effects pop up. But we want to do the noise and grain fractal noise. This is the effect that you want to apply to this layer. You can actually apply it here, or you can actually apply it to the fireball layer in the timeline. And you see what happens now. So right now we have a little something where you can see the fractal noise. And this is the base. I'm sorry, these are your controls. So you want to pay attention to these controls over here. So I always go to the effects control panel too, because you can't find it. Sometimes it'll default back to the project folder, but you go here to the drop down and you find effects controls, because you're going to hear me say effects controls a lot. And this is where you want to find it and go to. So this is where you see your effect controls here, and this is where we're going to manipulate today to create the fire. But what you want to do is go in and increase the contrast to at least 150. This is from me just playing with this, you know, over time. I figured out, you know, what to do and what looks good, you know, for a quick, fast render. So from there you go, you know, go down to your transform drop down box and decrease the scale to like 80. You could actually now apply another effect, because you see it's starting to look like a little something, right? You could apply another effect, because you're going to see what happens here. This effect I use a lot too. It's a really, really useful effect. And it's called Colorama. And you're going to see why they call it Colorama here in a second. So you take the Colorama effect, drop it on the same fireball effect. Now you see what it did? You can see more detail, and you can see actually where the hot areas are. But that's not what we want. So, so what I want you guys to do is go in and open up the output cycle, right? And from here, you go to the drop down, and you want to find fire. Ooh, look what we have now. See? Really fast fire. We're already looking good. We already have something that's workable right now. So now we're going to apply one more effect. And this right here, the rough edge effect, really looks good with fire. So, oh, and also you can drop it down in the controls panel as well, and it will also apply. I forgot to tell you guys that. There's 3 different ways to apply an effect, and that's the third one. So in effects control, once again, it's already pulled up. We can go in and we can change some of these controls. So go to border and change the border, let's say to 75. You see what that did? See what it did to the edges? It's to roughen the edges. So we got that to 75. Let's keep playing with it. Let's go to the sharpness. So you go down, border, edge, sharpness. And what we want to do here is let's try like a 0.5 instead of a 1. Give it a little more rough look. And also the scale. I found this to be really, really, really helpful. Just drop the scale down to 80. It already, it gives the edges a little more of what you're looking for. And once again, the complexity is very important. You just want to raise that to 3 instead of 2. And now we're starting to look pretty good. And with this now, it could actually pass for an overlay. Like if you had a fire overlay or something. And to get it to look even better, you play with the fractal noise and roughen the edges a little bit. And I'm going to show you the last thing, because this is done, guys. Like I really want to show you the last thing to do to just bring the fire alive, to animate it. And that's what really makes everything, animation. So, and I always start, you hit this little button here because this is the keyframe button to turn it on. And so what you want to do is animate this over time. That's what evolution is. It's from, being an imbecile to an adult. It takes time. So we always start from the beginning of the timeline with the first keyframe. And then let's go to the, let's say, I don't know. We don't need this fire to be so long. Let's go to 30 seconds, right? And then we want to say, type in 15 here. Okay? Now let's see what we already have. I'm gonna render this back for a second. You already have some motion. See, that's fire, but it's not like fire the way we need it. But there's some motion there already. I think that's too slow, so let's bump it up to 30 just to see. I like that a little better. So let's stick with 30 for now. And you could also go into the roughen edges and also adjust the evolution there to see what that gives you. So once again, we start at the beginning. Let's go to 30. And let's say 5 here. Or I started at 15. Let's say 15 here. See? That's a really quick way to create fire, guys. Alright, fellas, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial, my first look, man, my first piece that I put out. There's a method to my madness, so just stay tuned and stay with me so we can build, alright? Well, please like, share, subscribe. I need 1,000 followers, so help me get the 1,000 followers. And don't forget, you can email me for any type of tutorial you would like. I am taking small donations for any special requests, but I could do one-on-ones too. If you give me a call, just get in my DM or get in the email. And don't forget, guys, hit that notification button. It's very important. So if I go live or I'm dropping the next video, you guys will know. So tomorrow I want to pick up where we left off with the same fractal noise effect, because that effect takes you a long way. And I'll show you how to do some cool